poor, untouched by the war, okay? And we don't charge sales tax on food and clothing. So these people get 96% off, you see, because of the fact that their dollar's worth 4 cents to ours, and then they don't pay sales tax. And this is all before coupons. See? No wonder we had trouble getting rid of these Confederates, you see. Okay? But as the battle unfolds, it's an accidental. I always tell people the battle started accidentally on purpose. Okay? He knows that because he has me for class. He knows I don't make much sense. That's why I tell you, write it down and then talk to people afterwards and see what they think I said. But the point is, it's an accident in the spot here, but it's on purpose. They came up here to fight. Okay? And on June 30th, Confederates came looking for army supplies, shoes especially, and found Yankees looking for them. Okay? And so they went back and told their friends over there that there's a lot of Yankees in the town of Gettysburg. Now, isn't that great? Sure, that's a great odds. That's information you can't get anywhere else. Now, let me ask you this, okay? Think about that information, and let me ask you this. There's only 2 of us here who studied under Socrates. And you can probably guess who those 2. We're 2 of the few students left from Socrates, okay? And Socrates always answered a question by asking a question. No wonder they made him drink hemlock, okay? And so I would ask you, isn't it great we know there's a lot here? Okay, my question to you then is, how many is in a lot? See, ask the math people, they give you the same response. Don't know, don't have enough information, you see. And so the Southerners come back on the 1st of July to find out how many's in a lot, and they found out the same way the Titanic found the iceberg. Wasn't that, how many saw the movie? How many saw it? Did you see me? Wasn't it awesome? Didn't you people know the ship was going to sink before you went? What's the matter with you? Okay? But anyway, so it sank. Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, we're giving a tour. You want to come along? Be that way then. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so that's the thing. The Confederate Army runs into the Union Army here, and then just like the Titanic, it backed up and went around the iceberg and all was fine, right? No, they have to fight a battle now. And as the battle unfolds, it's being fought out here, and the Union forces are doing a real good job of holding back the Confederates until the afternoon of July the 1st, when Southerners start to come down this road right here. And that's Jubal Early, and this will change the complexion of the Battle of Gettysburg. This is why the South wins, coming down this road. This is why there's a July 2nd. Okay, I always ask people, why did they fight on July 2nd? I don't know. Well, because the South won the first day. Why do they fight on July the 3rd? Because the South won the second day. Why don't they fight on the 4th of July?
It was over.
I thought it was a holiday. No, because the South lost the 3rd day. It's like the NCAA playoffs. You play till you win, you lose. When you lose, 1863 at the time of the battle. But Barlow is concerned that if the Confederates get that high ground, they'll be able to dominate his position back here. And initially, the Union Army was trying to do what? They're trying to get up on that high ground over there. That's Oak Hill. They're trying to get up there, get up on that ground, and secure the flank of the Union Army. By the time they get here, there's Confederates up there shooting down on them. Okay? So that's high ground. Like I said, all open ground. And of course, many of you know Gettysburg athletic fields are right over there on the other side of these buildings. And that's why they were allowed to put athletic fields there, so that we could keep it open the way it was. How many remember the Titans? How many?
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington, okay? Well, the Titans came back to town here a couple weeks ago. They had a reunion at Gettysburg. The real Titans, not the movie Titans. Okay, and we got to know some of the truth about it. They didn't run through the cemetery. They didn't run the Devil's Den. Okay, where they ran, if they screwed up, the coach made them run up to the top of that hill and back again. And he could see them because of the athletic fields. That's how it was. You run up there and touch Robinson's toes and get back here and do it fast as you do it again. Okay? So they were here, and that's where they were over there. The movie was filmed in Hollywood. It wasn't filmed in Gettysburg. But this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to protect the flank of the Union troops up on that hill. Okay, and Jubal Early's coming down the road. If you look out there in front of you, some of you know what's out there. Okay, that's Gettysburg High School. If you take my class, you know there's now 4 things you can see from the moon. Okay, there's the Suez Canal. What else? What else?
Great Wall of China.
Great Wall of China. The 3 dam in China, the 3 Gorge Dam project in Gettysburg High School. Those are the things man-built you can see from outer space. Okay, and that's where they're putting their line in out there. See, all that ground in front of you was open ground. As Barlow's moving forward, he's got 2 brigades. He's got barely you know, 3,000, got less than 3,000 men. Von Gilsa's brigade comes first. He comes right out across here. He's got 3 or 4 regiments, 900 men. Von Gilsa, where's that, Irish?
Von Gilsa?
Von Gilsa. Is it Irish name?
That's a German name.
That's it!
Yeah.
That's it! See, how many remember, it took me for, or you, Professor Hamill here, the revolutions of 1848 in Europe. They didn't work out real well, did they? And the Germans that lost the revolution in 1848 are in America now. Okay? And it's tough to get a job in America as a German. We don't hire Germans. They speak funny. Okay? And so we didn't hire him, so he had to get a job. He was in the Bowery, up there in New York. He worked at a piano bar. Oh yeah, they put bread in his jar and said, "Man, what are you doing here?" That's Von Gilsa, you know. Okay, and so
his first name was Davy, and he was in the Navy.
Probably
will be for life.
Billy Von Gilsa. Billy Von Gilsa. So let's follow this guy hard. That's what does us in. That floods. We're on the floodplain here. This is the floodplain. No trees, no buildings. Okay, no trees, buildings. Out there. Red roof up there, red roof, that's an Exxon station at the top. Okay? Yeah, very expensive, by gas. Out there. And that's where Juba Early's men are coming in. They're going to form up there. Juba Early could see from up there down here. And he can see that he's already on the flank of the Union Army. And that's where you want to be, because you can maximize damage. You can concentrate your mass against the enemy's fractions. And here's Barlow. He conveniently stuck it out there where he could get around it. When Barlow sees Early, he says, "Where'd he come from?" That's not exactly what he said, but it's close enough for gun to work, okay? You know, because he wasn't informed that this guy was coming. Now, his superior officer called Shurz. Shurz was another one of those failed revolutionaries, you see, in America. He's commanding this outfit, and he thought Barlow was back there. He gets up on a house down there to look the ground over, and all of a sudden he sees this mass of Union troops going forward, and he says, "What's he doing?" in German, okay? And so he comes down, and he knew that Early was coming down the road because the cavalry told him. His superior officer is Oliver Otis Howard, a down Mainer. He knows. He knows that Juba Early's out there. But no one seemed to tell Barlow. Barlow found out that, like the Titanic again, "Oh my gosh, what do you mean we hit an iceberg? I didn't want to hit an iceberg today. What's the matter with you people?" There goes the shuffleboard tournament. And I was so looking forward to it. You see, okay? And so what you have here is now he's stuck out there, and he's got one brigade back at the almshouse, so he orders that brigade up to give him more people on the hill out here. Okay, and he maybe has 2,000 men out there at this time. Juba Early has 5,400 on his flank. It's not a pretty picture. Bayard Wilkinson's guns will roll across here. He leaves one section at the bank to cover this road. And 4 guns are out there, though they are. And they open fire. Not a good plan, because Early has 16 guns. And he's got 12 of them lined up there, and they fire back. One of the first shots fired from Wilkinson's guns will hit the muzzle of one of Jones' battalion guns at Garber's battery and blow the thing off the carriage and bent the barrel. Now you can't shoot straight, you see? And Carrington, who has 4 guns in the road waiting to move forward, he saw it happen. He says, "My God," he says, "he hit the front of the barrel. That's like hitting a cup off the tee." Okay, what do you know? And a hole in one almost, hole in one almost. You see, and he says there's probably no record of anything, nothing like this on record before or ever. He didn't know that over there one of the Yankees put a cannonball right down the hole. Plugged the gun, just put it right in there. Oh my gosh.
All net, right?
Yeah.
All net.
Yeah, all net, baby. Whoa, right down the hole. You see, they had to pull the gun out because the projectile's facing the wrong way. You see? Okay, so that's what happens up there. 2 other guns were put out of action because the Confederates, they're not real good with, they're like me. I'd be a great Confederate because I can't keep accounting. I'm not good with figures. Every Irishman should have a good German bookkeeper. You see, so if you're Irish, married German, you'll be fine. That's what I did. Okay, so I'm fine. I haven't seen the checkbook since we got married, but I don't care. I'm a happy guy. A happy guy. You see, but the point to be made is they put the wrong projectile in the barrel. What happens? They got stuck. Oh my gosh, who's going to reach in and get it? You go ahead. Reach down and pull it out. Okay, so 2 guns were put out of action that way. So now you got 3 from 12. What's that? Is anyone taking math here? 9, thank you. I can't do it. 9. Okay, so there's still 9 to 4. There's still 9 to 4. And as they're firing in here, Bayard Wilkinson is on his horse, and he's directing the action when a 10-pound parrot hit him in the thigh and mangled his leg. Okay, he was on horse, and one guy remembered the infantry going up. They said they saw these officers, and they all went over to this man who was hit of some importance because he attracted a lot of attention. Bayard Wilkinson is 19 years old. He's a lieutenant in the U.S. Army. A lot of attention for a lieutenant, you see. And he will cut off what's left of his leg with his pocket knife. And they put him in the almshouse, and that's where he died that evening. He died down there in the almshouse. Okay, he's the youngest commander in the Union Army killed in the Battle of Gettysburg. And guess what his father does for a living? No, he should have been a doctor. He's a war correspondent. He's the Walter Cronkite. You guys don't remember him, but Terry and I do. Walter Cronkite of the American Civil War. He's one of the top war correspondents for the New York City press conglomerate, like Horace Greeley and Bennett's World, you know, all those people. He's out here. One of the first stories he writes is about how his son was left behind and died unattended. So he gives a bad tilt. These guys ran left and behind. No, they ran so they didn't join. Go ahead.
Can you guys make room just let people come by?
Yeah. And if you look on your map, okay, the first one has Hack on it. You can see Von Gilsa, the piano player, right there. You can see his line. Where does he stand? Right where we're standing. Right where we're standing. So his line's right along that tree line right there, right in front of you. And it's barely a skirmish line. He's got like a guy per yard, 1 man per yard. That's not the way you make a line, but he has to stretch it out. And in effort, once they know that Barlow knows that Early's coming down this road, he would send 4 companies of the 17th Connecticut across the bridge right here. And he sends them out there to kind of put a, well, whatever, you know, guard the flank or to kind of confront what he thinks is coming down the road. So there's actually going to be 4 companies of Union troops on the other side of the creek. They're the only 4 companies in the Union infantry that fought on the east side of Rock Creek on July 1st, 1863. And once they get over there, they're going to have some problems we're going to talk about in a minute. But this area right here in front of you was all open. See that tree with the ribbon around it? You know what the ribbon says? Do not cut. So guess what? There's only 1 ribbon. I guess the other ones are coming down. There's a few more? Yeah, I got a couple in there. So they want to kind of keep a semblance, but they're trying to make it look more like 1863. And that means we take down 1,600 acres of woods on the 6,000 acre park. 1,600 acres go down, 600 acres are planted. And one of the things they're planting is blockers. See over there, just to the right of the guy with a bugle? You see that kind of shrubbery sticking up? No leaves on it? Okay, that's the blockers' woods. See, they cut those down when they put the monuments up. Well, those were trees in 1863. So they're planting them and cutting them down here. You should have seen me trying to explain that to a busload of people from Denmark. You know, I'm trying to tell them this, and I said to them, well, we're cutting trees down and planting them right next to them, make it look more historic. And the guy in the front bus said, now let me get this straight. You're cutting down trees right next to where you're planting them. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, it's amazing you people have lasted this long. That's what he told me. It damn near floored me. What are you going to say? So if you go to Denmark and they say, oh, you're those crazy Americans, you know where they got the idea. For me, I couldn't convince them that we needed to look historic. See, they don't have that luxury in Denmark. Denmark's one of the most densely populated countries in the world.
They ride bikes everywhere.
Oh yeah, they ride bikes everywhere. And this is a housing development. You know, it's a housing development. That's what we're trying to prevent here in Gettysburg. I mean, housing developments are okay, but not right here. Not where the battlefield is. Now look in front of you. Up there, high ground. That part got away. That part got away. That's where the Confederates are forming. Up there. And the guns of Jones' battalion are right behind the Lutheran church. Right up there, or whatever it is. That's a Lutheran old folks home. When you get old, you go up there. Even the fleas on dogs here are Lutherans. Yeah, we're filthy with Lutherans. Okay. Look, there's a couple up there. Look at that. This is the talk they come. Okay. Anyway, right up there is where the guns are, and that's all open ground. That's how Early could see all this action going on behind you. Now what I want to do is I want to walk up to that building with the blue tarp. And we're going to go into that guy's yard. He's got a gun, but that's okay. He can only shoot 2 of us. It's a 2-barrel shotgun. Okay, no, that's Park Service now. It's not privately owned anymore. You'll send Mitch in first. He's a good talker. He'll tell him. He'll tell him we're okay. Yeah, we didn't come to steal your yard. Okay, so that's where we're going to walk, and I'm going to talk there a little bit, and then we're going to come back. Okay? So you up for it? You up for it? War building, July 1863. Most of the historic buildings have that. Okay? The people bought that and put it on there. They started doing that in the 1970s to document which buildings were here, which ones weren't. Okay, Josiah Benner, this is their farm. That's his barn up there. That used to be a junk store. The people call it antiques. I call it junk. Okay, I stay out of antique stores and yard sales because everybody's junk looks good to me. I haven't been allowed to go to a yard sale since I walked in the house with a tuba several years ago. A tuba, $600 tuba. My wife says, "Whose is that?" I said, "It's mine." She said, "Where'd you get that?" At a yard sale. She said, "That's it, no more yard sales for you." So I go to Yard Sales Anonymous, you know, where we sit around and talk about yard sales but don't go there. Okay, okay. So this is his farm, and this was just acquired by the Park Service. This house has only been in the Park Service for less than a year, and they're trying to do some structural restoration on a spring house down here. So this was his barn, and this came separate to the Park Service. Okay, they got that first, and they're going to do some. They've done a structural study, and it's a little. They don't want people going in there because they have to stabilize the structure. But what a beautiful barn! Look at that stone barn, brick house. The Benners are doing well. They're doing well, and this is where the 17th Connecticut's 4 companies will come across the road and come out here. The Major Allen Brady is commanding them. He's on horseback. There's an intelligent guy. Let's ride in there so they can see me better. And they come in here. He said, "I sent 2 companies forward as skirmishers. The other 2 held as a reserve were advanced in line, loading and firing as rapidly as possible, making at the same time a left wheel so as to swing our right around the house." Swing our right around the house. So they're coming right through the guy's yard here. The reserve keeping near and conforming to the movements of the skirmishers. When they get in the yard where we are, he goes on to say, "The enemy opened on us with shot, shell, grape, and canister." It's like taking a stick and whacking a hornet's nest with it. Everything's flying in here now. And that's Carrington's Battery. They're right up behind that house up there. I don't know if any of you have ever been up there. There's a little park road off to the right opposite the school. It's Jones Battalion Avenue. Hard to find. In fact, I had one of the GTC bus drivers. These guys drive buses here for the commercial company in town. He's been driving bus for them for 14 years and was a school bus driver for over 28 years. And I took him up that avenue and he said, "When the hell they put this in here?" I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I didn't even know this existed. I've never been up here before." I took him up in a bus. You know? I said, "Well," I said, "you're here now." And he got the bus turned around and got out. But it's his little cul-de-sac up in there. And it would be a great place to go study history in the evenings with a friend, except that the Lutherans never sleep. Okay? And they build houses all around that. But that was all open ground there behind you. This is farms. This is farms. Farms, fences, fields, and farms. Okay? And of course, as they come in here, he went on to say the house was struck by 8 shells. 8 artillery rounds strike the house, 1 passing through and setting fire to the building. Okay, if not for the heroic efforts of Mr. Benner, who lived there, the house would have burned to the ground. Mr. Benner was in the house when the fighting started. Whereas Mrs. Benner and the kids, he sent them away. I'll stay and watch the house. The other guys did it different. They took their cattle and their horses and their oldest sons and left the women and children behind. You see, they're never around when you need them, are they? Men, you know how they are. Always have something better to do when something needs to be done. But Mr. Benner's in the house, and I'm told, I haven't gotten up there yet, but I know from people that have been, that there's still burn marks in the attic from the fire in this house. Okay? So this house still bears the damage from 1863. Now, if you go around this way, look at the building. See, brick. Yeah. What's that?
That's an
Bullet mark. Bullet hit that. Bullet hit that. Okay? See? And look up here. Look up here. What's that? What's that up there?
Oh, yeah.
Up there above the window. Mitch, what is that?
That's still a murder in
Out
there.
here shooting, and all of a sudden, as you look at your map, you can see Gordon's men. Gordon's men. Okay? And they're all lined up. And they're in, what is the name of that farm? I always forget the guy's name. It's right here. Bring man. Bring me a man. Okay? Must be his wife saying that. But anyway, it's a Bring Man Farm. Bring Man Farm. Now, if you go out this road, we're not going to walk up there, obviously, but if you go out this road and you get to the end of the line for buildings on your left, and there's a veterinarian up here.
Oh,
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
There's a veterinarian, and if you go past the vet shop, what's next in line? Well, Gettysburg High School. But there's a road there with a chain and a yellow post. That's the Bring Man Farm lane. That lane is still there, and that's where Gordon's men formed before they made their advance down through here. And Gordon's another one of those Confederates who's kind of interesting. They all are, you know. He's a lawyer. He went to the University of Georgia but didn't graduate. You know, he goes into coal mining right before the Civil War, and he starts out as a private. So he starts out as captain of the Georgia Roughs. Oh, those guys are tough and rough, you know. All right, and he starts out and he wound up a lieutenant general at the end of the war. He shot 6 times at the Battle of Antietam. Antietam's what time is that? 62. What time's the Battle of Gettysburg? You can't kill this guy. You hit him 6 times, he's still living. Oh my gosh, they haven't made the bullets that could kill Gordon. He was actually shot in the head at Antietam. 6-1 put him down in the head. Put a hole in his hat. He falls in his hat, and he's bleeding in his hat. But the blood runs out of his hat, so he can still breathe. That's Gordon. This he's in right with the Lord. Yeah. Me, the bullet would have hit me and not put a hole in the hat, and I'd have drowned. You see? But that's Gordon. Tough guy. His men are moving forward, and one of his men said, he is the most prettiest thing you ever seen in the field of fight. Prettiest thing you ever seen in the field of fight. It'd put fight in a whipped chicken just to look at him. Okay? And he's going leading his men into battle. If they don't kill him at Antietam, he's going to survive the war. And these guys are crashing down on him here. You've got maybe 130 Union troops in and around this yard. Gordon has 1,500 men coming down on him. 1,500. And off to the left of the road, or there, or right as we're looking at, out behind the church there, is Hayes. And to Hayes' left is Avery. You got 3 brigades. You got just about 4,400 men coming down on 120 or 30. And so all of a sudden Brady's riding back and forth. Well, it goes down. His horse goes down. So he's not riding anymore. That saved his life. Because there's lead packing in here and bouncing around, you know, shells flying. And so he ordered his men out. He said, get out. We got to get back across the bridge. You see? And he said Company K wouldn't leave. He said, I had the utmost difficulty in getting those people to leave because, as they said, they were shooting down the rebels with great glee. In other words, they're having too much fun. Why leave? This is a great place to shoot rebels. And they're shooting them there. And as he said in his report, after the battle was over, he said, my men knocked down 6 for every one I lost. So I don't know how he's doing. Is he going over and counting? You know? So that's just what he's saying. His men were hitting the targets, and there's a lot to hit. There's a lot to hit, so I'm sure they hit more than they took, because these guys are spread out, hard to hit, and you got 4,400 Confederates. Shoot one, I did. Miss, you know. I aim at him, and I hit her. I'm still shooting a rebel. Okay? And so they're coming down. So these guys come out through the gate and go back across the bridge, and Gordon's men come sweeping right through here. They're headed for the knoll. Hayes and Avery, they're going to come crashing down across those fields over there, and they're going to cross the bridge, the hack side there. Hayes is going to go right through the building. He's going to go right through the building into the parking lot of Hack, and Avery is over beyond the maintenance shed. Okay, so he's going to come right on the Gettysburg side of the maintenance shed. So they're passing through there, and as they're going through Hack, what's happening? They're getting hit with artillery fire. They're throwing shells into the parking lot there. And where are those shells coming from? Well, most of them are coming from Cemetery Hill, the other side of town. Because these guns will shoot a mile, 2 miles. Those rifle guns like to shoot these. This is a parrot shell. This is a 10-pound parrot. bird too heavy to fly. But they'll go 2 miles. They'll go 2 miles in the air. Okay, so Cemetery Hill out here is less than 2 miles. So they're getting nailed as they're coming through those yards because that's all wide open ground. They can see clearly from the cemetery. Okay? All right, any questions? Okay, 2 more things before we leave here. One of the things I want to tell you about is the Gordon-Barlow story. Okay, Gordon-Barlow. We introduced him. Gordon's a division commander. When Barlow's men hit the knoll over there, they're going to drive Barlow's men off the knoll. Barlow's trying to rally him over there. He's shot in the shoulder there, or I guess right under the armpit. He's between the hip and the armpit, somewhere in this area here. Okay, and he starts to bleed, and he gets a little woozy. So he gets off his horse. Great idea. You're riding a horse, now you're off your horse, and you're walking. This guy's an intelligent fellow. He's a lawyer from New York. Okay, and he's walking. As he's walking, he gets hit in the spine with a spent bullet, and he goes down. And he's laying there in some anguish. A couple of his men come by and see him, and they try and pick him up, and they're carrying him off the field. A great idea. He's getting some assistance, you know. And as they're carrying him off the field, Gordon's men are pouring over the knoll, and they open fire on anybody in front of them. And the one guy that's helping carry Gordon off Barlow off goes down. He's killed. The other guy thought, well, you make it on your own, pal. I'm out of here. And he dropped the general and took off. And so there he is laying, Confederates running over top of him. Okay, now here's where the story gets interesting. Because Gordon will tell it after the war. He says, as my men were sweeping over the knoll, I noticed a man of some importance and some a degree of distress, and I stopped to see if I could give him some aid. It's a general thing. They're all in the same fraternity, you know. And there was Gordon, or Barlow, and Gordon went to him and he says, is there anything I can do for you? He says, not really. He says, I think I'm done, but I do have some letters for my wife. Would you see that she gets them? And Gordon said yes, and he gave him a canteen, and then followed his men as they're driving the Union troops back through the college there, Gettysburg College, and into the town.